Welcome guys, this is Claudette with Miss Puff Creative Corner, and today I'm going to be creating a gift card bouquet. And so I have a friend that I'm gifting her something for her birthday, so this is practical. And so if you're interested in seeing how I put that bouquet together, please do stick around. So first, to include my gift cards, I created these little pockets. I made a video previously a couple years ago on how to create these pockets, and these are so easy to make, and you could use your scrap papers too as well. And this pocket, I used a 6x6 designer series paper or scrapbook paper, which have designs on both sides. But today I'm going to be creating a smaller little pocket that I am going to use 5x5. So I'm going to cut the paper down 5x5. And these are nice because you could use them for anything. So this could hold like a gift card like this. All right, it could hold little tea bags. And so it could hold multiple things. So you just want to create your pockets using an even square. So if you want 7x7, 8x8, if you want the pockets to be bigger. So this is a little bookmark, a hidden clip bookmark that I created. And so you could put little gifts like this in here. All right, so let's get started. And also I'm going to create a little card, mini card / gift card holder, and I'm going to show you how I created that. I used to do card swaps a couple years ago, and or last year probably was the last time I did it, and someone sent me this little it's like a gift card holder / card, right? It's a little mini card, and then it's closed with Velcro. And I am going to be using little magnets instead. So I thought this was kind of cute. So I am going to create one of those with a different measurement. So let's go ahead and get started, and we'll create this little pocket right here. So we're going to be starting out with a 6x6 paper. And then this 6x6 paper, it's have designs on both sides, okay? And I wanted like more of a nice green spring look, and I'm going with green, orange, and yellow for this design. So I am going to cut this down to 5x5. So once I get that to 5x5, I'm going to score it down the middle, okay? Score it down the middle. And I'm going to make sure I have my scoring blade there. And then I'm just going to put it down the track here. So if you don't have a blade on yours, you could just use a little scoring tool or bone folder that you could just take it and score it down the middle. Okay, so this is just going to help me. I'm just lining it up here, and this kind of holds that little tip there and then the tip here, so I could have a even score. So we're going to score this down the middle. So then whatever design you want, if you have design on both sides, so whatever design you want in the middle, you're going to have that facing up, okay? You're going to have that facing up for whatever design you want in the middle. So then now what we're going to do is we're going to fold that along that score line, and we're going to give that a good crease. And I'm going to help that along with my bone folder and get that crease nice and tight there. All right, so next what we're going to do is we're going to fold this point right here. We're going to fold it down to this straight edge here to the bottom, okay? And that's where it's folded on that line. So we're going to come down here and just bring it right there that tip right there, and then we're gonna crease that in. Okay, bring my bone folder in and make that nice and tight. So next what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold along here. I'm gonna put my finger here. We're gonna bring in this corner right here. And this straight edge right here, we're gonna line it up with this straight edge right here. So we're gonna bring this in, and I just want it to bend right here in this corner. All right, and then we're gonna line it up to that straight edge. Hold your tip right there. We want that straight with that tip edge and bend it in. All right, get your bone folder. You could use anything heavy, the end of a scissors. And then we're gonna do that here to the opposite end. Put my finger right here. We're gonna bend that. The straight edges, we want that to line up there, okay? And then we're gonna walk that in. Get our bone folder and make that nice and tight there, okay? Now I'm gonna bring my rounder in, corner rounders, and then I am just gonna round this piece off up here and then this right down here. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. All right. I'm just gonna bring in my Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink, and I'm just gonna kind of make those edges a little defined. Add some dimension to this, and especially being a little pastel color. Didn't cut that great. Let's put that back in. Okay, much better. So then we're gonna go ahead and glue this down. I just want to make this a little bit more color on those edges. We're gonna go ahead and glue this down. So this is what we had, right? So what we're gonna do is put this flap piece right up, and we're gonna bring these in and glue these down right there, okay? So let's just add some glue. Just wanna make sure that's on the straight line here, good. All right, so I'm just gonna add glue along this triangle right here, just this piece right here. You don't have to add right there if you don't want to, but you can. So when you come under, just glue that down, keep that line underneath there where your straight edge was. And then we're gonna add some glue to the opposite side. Then we'll just bring this one down and make sure it's lined up with that straight edge, because that's going to help your flap close nice and even, not bulky. Okay, then we're going to bring our flap down, and I am just going to add some glue right here to this tip. And then we're going to bring that down right there, and this way you have little open pockets right here that you could stuff stuff in. And then that's it. All you have to do is bring in your designs and design your pocket. All right, that's it. Just design up your pocket, add your little embellishments to it, and then you're good to go with that. And that would be that pocket right there. Okay, let's move on to the little gift card holder slash greeting card. Okay, so now to create our little gift card holder slash mini greeting card, we're going to come in with some cardstock. This is measuring 2 3/4 by 10.5. I'm going to bring in my scoring tool. We're going to score along this longer side, so it's 10.5 by 2 3/4. So we bring in the scoring tool, and then we're going to score at 3.5. Little segment at 3.5. 3.5. I'm going to turn this around and do 3.5 again. So then now we should get even little section measuring 3.5. So I am going to come along this side, and we're going to cut that down. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the track to cut this off. So I'm going to overshoot. I'm going to put this point a little bit over there to this side. I want that point over this way. I'm going to cut behind the point. So when it folds, yeah. So when it folds right here, I went beyond that tip. Okay, so when I did one earlier and I cut right exactly on the angle, the tip was too long. So go beyond that tip and then cut, and then it won't get into that groove right there. Okay, so once we get that, you're going to make your creases nice and tight, and that's going to be your base. And now what we're going to do is just design it up. So we're going to get a designer series paper for here and one out here. All right. Now to create our triangle layer, we're going to cut rectangular measuring 3 1/4 by 2.5 inches. Then we're going to put those little points within on our trimmer along the track, and then we're going to cut down the center. Then you'll have your layer for that triangle piece. Before you add your top triangle layer, don't forget to add your magnet first, as I did. I forgot. So add that little magnet first, and then once you add that, you're going to go ahead and cover it over with your top layer. Once you have that top layer over, you're going to add your second magnet connected to the first magnet, and then you're going to add some glue on top of that magnet, the second one, and close your cardstock shut. It's going to pick up the glue off of the magnet over the top layer so you'll know exactly where to put that second magnet. Then once you get the second magnet over on your closing top layer, you're going to go ahead and put a top layer over that inside. So the insert layer is measuring 3 3/8 by 2 5/8, and that have your sentiment on it, and I have it in white cardstock. Now for the top layers, outside layers, you're going to have 2 layers. I use a white cardstock measuring 3 3/8 by 2 5/8, that is in inches, and the top layer of that is scrapbook paper measuring 3 1/4 by 2 1/2. And then for your design, I use a circle and a scallop punch to create those top layers. So you could add whatever you like to your top layers. Now, to the end, what I'm going to be using to create my bouquet is a mason jar. The person who's receiving your gift could reuse that. I am going to use some screws, and I am going to go ahead and glue the pockets as well as the gift card holder on using some Scotch tape. I would recommend using hot glue if you're going to put anything heavy in there. I was planning to add some chocolate in there, but it was too heavy for the pockets. I wanted to use Scotch tape so then she could be able to keep those sentiments, the card and the pockets if she chooses to. Also, I'm going to take some tissue paper, a nice green tissue paper. We're going to stuff that green tissue paper down in our mason jar. Then we're going to add our little bouquets of our pockets and gift card holder as the bouquets. You're going to add those in there. So I stuffed some tissue paper down so my candies could sit really nicely down there. Then to the end, what we're going to do is top it off with a beautiful large bow. In this case, I use an orange and white stripe. It really adds that pop of color. And this is wired ribbon. And to the tails, I did some duck cuts, and isn't this lovely? I love how it came out. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you guys on that next video.